Hello everyone and happy Friday! For today's Fast Craft Friday craft, I am going to be showing you how to make this beautiful wood bead garland, which is just a great accent piece in any home with any decor, super simple and super fun. So let's get started. So to start, you are going to need a bunch of wood beads. I got this simple wood bead garland from Hobby Lobby for 40% off. And I found it to just be the cheapest way to get beads of all the same size. And then I also am using 12 of the 1/2 inch beads, 2 1.5 inch beads for the ends by the tassels, and then 2 small beads to start. Then you'll also need some twine, scissors, and a glue gun. I started out by cutting a 50-inch piece of twine. I am making a 42-inch garland in this video. I tied a slip knot and then double knotted it and put a small bead on to start. I also used the hot glue gun to just secure that knot and make sure that it won't fall apart. Just a quick tip that makes beading a whole lot easier is to glue about 1 inch of the end of your twine so that you can stiffen the end of your string and make beading just so much easier. It's especially important with wood beads since not all of the holes are as cleanly cut as we would expect them to be. And now you can just string your beads however you would like in whatever pattern you want to use. I did 3 of the mid-size and then 1 of the 1/2 inch size beads all throughout the garland. So once you get to the end of your garland, you are going to want to tie another slip knot. I slowed this part of the video down so you can better see how I did it exactly. There are lots of ways that you can create these garlands and make the tassels at the end, but this is just the way that I found to be the most secure, especially if you have little kids. My daughter always ends up wanting to play with these, and so we just want them to be a little extra sturdy and secure. So as you can see, I'm tying a small slip knot, making it as tight as possible, but not too tight to where the beads are stiff and pushed together, but loose enough that there's still movement. And then I went in, I tied another knot on top of the slip knot. I actually double knotted it, and then I cut it off and take a little bit of glue and just glue down that knot to make it more secure so that it doesn't fall apart. Twine has a tendency of loosening up as it moves, and so having that glue to just hold it in place helps it to be extra secure. So once we have the main section of this garland complete and we have loops on each side, we are going to cut a 10-inch piece of twine. You really need it to be about 10 inches. You'll see why on the next step, but we will string the largest wood bead that we have and repeat that on the other side as well. Now to start the tassels, I'm using a piece of scrap cardboard that's about 5 inches wide, and I will be wrapping it around the cardboard about 20 to 25 times, just so that we have a nice thick tassel. I slowed this part of the video down too, just to show you. Don't wrap it too tight that you can't get it off, but try to just keep the consistency with the pressure so that all of your ends are about the same length. And then just cut it when you feel like you've got enough to make a nice tassel. Take the piece of tape off and then slide all of the twine off keeping a hold of the top of the twine so that we can loop the twine that we already have on our wood bead garland through the tassel that we just created. So this part seems a little bit tricky, but it's really not too tricky once you get it. You're going to string the twine that is already connected to the garland through the tassel that we just created and then string it back up through the large bead. I had a little bit of a hard time getting the twine back through the bead, so I just again took my glue gun, added some glue to the ends so that it was a little bit easier to get it to string through. Once it was all the way through, I split apart the twine and then strung one end through the loop that we have previously strung through, and I tied a double knot. The tighter that you tie the knot, the more hidden it will be inside of the large wood bead. So just try to tie this knot as tight as you possibly can without breaking the twine. Then just cut off the remainder of the ends, and then we will finish up making the rest of the tassel. For this part, we are going to find the cut end of the tassel that we have, and we're actually going to unroll it 3 or 4 times to make the attached string be about 10 to 12 inches long, so that we can start wrapping it around the top to create that more structured tassel. So once your twine is unwound, we will start by taking our glue gun and just putting a tiny bit of glue right at the top, right by the large wood bead, just to get the top of the tassel started. I found it's easiest to make a ring of hot glue right around the top so that that first layer of wrapping will stay in place, and then from there you can just continue wrapping the twine around until it is about 1/4 of the way down the tassel. When you go to do the second tassel on the other end of your garland, just try to make sure that however far you went down on the first end is the same on the second, so they just match. And once you've finished wrapping the top of your tassel, just go in with a tiny bit of hot glue and then take the end of the twine, push it down, and then cut off however much is remaining of the twine. I went in with my scissors and just pushed it down a little bit harder to make sure that there's not an end sticking up. Then I just went in with my scissors and cut the loops at the end of the twine to finish up the tassel. This next part is optional, but I just feel like it gives the garland a more finished look. So I just go in at the top of the tassel and add a hot glue ring right around the opening of the wood bead and just attach it to the tassel itself, and then clean up the hot glue with some scissors or your finger and give it a more uniform look. And then I go in and I do the exact same thing at the top of the large wood bead to attach it to the small wood bead on the inside. And this final step is also optional, but again, just gives it that finished and clean look. I just went in with a lighter and just burned off the phrase, "Be careful." Twine is very flammable, so you want to make sure that you're not holding the heat on it for too long. But yeah, just go in, clean it up, and then you are all finished. And that is how to make a beautiful wood bead garland, and I hope you give it a try. And if you do, please let me know. I would love to see how it turns out. Happy Friday, guys!